A very good evening and welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. Welcome back from State House Nakasero, where the President has been talking about the economic situation in the country. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. In our top stories, President Museveni expected in Omoro on Tuesday. Karamoja disarmament exercise progressing well. Martyrs' Day organizing committee unveils final program. And O2K pilgrims trekking to Namugongo for Martyrs' Day. Good evening once again. I'm Lorene Masika Kazimoto. Now we start off with our first headlining story this evening. The national chairman for NRM, President Museveni, is set to campaign for the party candidates in Omoro parliamentary by-elections next Tuesday. The Director Communications at NRM Secretariat, Emmanuel Dombo, says all is set to receive the president and he will campaign at 2 venues. Dombo adds that the campaigns are so far peaceful and polling day for the by-elections are next week on Thursday. Take a look.
We are coming to the conclusion of the campaign period, which is going to end on Tuesday with the coming of the national chairman of NRM, who is also the president of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni. We have had a campaign for about 9 days, and we have covered all sub-counties and all parishes, save for the remaining ones that we shall be doing in those days when the president visits, and those that are going to be done tomorrow. We have run a very peaceful campaign without any major incident. And we are very grateful to the police, to the people of Omoro, and to the candidates whom we are competing with for trying as much as possible to abide by the regulations as required by the Independent Electoral Commission. We therefore appeal to everybody that even for the remaining days, let us exercise restraint and calm. Let us play mature politics. Let us allow the people of Omoro to select the leader whom they want to lead them until the next general elections, when there is going to be another election again. The president will be coming on Tuesday, 24th. And he will specifically be in 2 venues. He will be in Opit, where the sub-counties of Lakwana, Akidi, Omoro Town Council are going to converge. Then he will also be in Odek, where we expect the sub-counties of Odek, Orafoyo, Achet, and Lalogi, which is going to where they are going to converge. But before that, we also expect the president to pay courtesy call to the home of Mzee Okori to commiserate with the family and lay wreath to the grave of the former vice chairman and speaker of the Parliament of Uganda.
Now, President Yoweri Museveni has called for patience as government deals with the problem of high commodity prices. In a televised address on the economic situation, President Museveni said the high prices was temporary and easier to solve compared to other problems the country has dealt with, like the coronavirus. Explaining the genesis of high commodity prices, President Museveni noted that the problem will be solved with existing knowledge but rightly applied. He, however, warned that the problem of high commodity prices, when not carefully handled, would lead to the collapse of the economy. He said Uganda is self-sustaining in local food and that people need and can survive on.
With the high commodity prices, we are still doing much better than many countries in the world. Our inflation has risen from 2.7% before the artificial crisis to 4.9% now. Our inflation is now 4.9. Compare this with other countries. UK, 9%. USA, 8.3%. France, 4.8%. Germany, 7.4%. Italy, 6%. Spain, 8.3%. Russia, 17.8%. China, 2.1%. Those are the ones who are lower than us. Kenya, 6.47%. Tanzania is also lower than us, 3.8%. Rwanda, 10.5%. Ghana, 23.6%. Why is the inflation still down here compared to other countries? Because of what we did. The correct action is to kukekereza, being frugal, kweremba, or these are the ones from outside, or kubyesonyiwa, getting alternatives for the non-oil items, With the internally produced commodities, I was tempted to look at removing taxes because with these, increased consumption would favor Uganda. However, the tax loss of Uganda shillings 193 billion for sugar, 200 billion for cement, 120 billion for mtayimbwa, would cripple our budget and the planned developments. Some of these challenges are temporary. With petrol, diesel and paraffin, the artificial crisis of the Bazungu has added another $34. We are engaging the involved actors on this. When we succeed here, we shall remain with the original reason of the fossil fuels being worried about the clean energy sources. That will be much better than where we are now. It is important for Ugandans to know that even when we get our own petroleum, we cannot sell it below the world prices minus transport costs. Because even when we get our own petroleum, we have to sell it at world prices minus transport, because we shall not include the cost going to the ocean or coming from the ocean. But otherwise, you cannot sell it below the market price, because if you do, you create the other problem of incentive for smuggling, where they buy cheap here, they go and sell in Congo, they go and sell. It's not. All these things need planning and strategy, not emotions.
Many people in Karamoja are trying to embrace a voluntary handover of guns since the launch of forceful disarmament on the 16th this month. Some warriors say they fear to lose their lives and families since they could not interact freely in communities.
So you may not get any problem.
40-year-old Apangila Longoke is a resident of Nakapiri main village in Nadunget Town Council, who alleges that he lost all his livestock to raiders, forcing him to borrow a gun from a friend to go for revenge. This story is no different from that of Longora Apol of Kipoi village in Lopukut sub-county, Moroto district, who went to Turkana and bought a gun to protect his property against rustlers.
Because somebody took by force his cows. So he also decided to go and pick his gun. Up to today, the other man who took his cows by force has not brought back.
Disturbed by the neighboring county like Bokora, the Gia. So now all the time they take the animals, all the time they take the cow, the goats, the chicken.
They say they have been hiding since they acquired the guns, and after hearing about what was happening to their colleagues, they decided to surrender the guns.
Maybe it will be even finished, like they will kill him. So even now, if he runs even away with this gun, they will kill him. The soldiers will get him even from where he's hiding. So he decided to say that this gun is not the one who has made it. So he returns back to.
Says he got difficulties when he was moving in the bush. Staying in the bush, sleeping in the bush, no food, no water. So, and even these people had got problems.
Brigadier General Balikudembe says there is a noticeable reduction in the level of criminality in Karamoja sub-region.
In the operations, arresting the criminals, screening and making sure that we get those that we want, and we get the guns, bows and arrows that have been being used to terrorize the community.
Moroto District Deputy Resident District Commissioner Justin Tuko received the guns and promised them that government will render them the necessary support.
Say that any person, maybe when security comes for disarmament and so forth, you can be able to show them your certificates. Please don't go back. Sit at home. Anything is going, the government is going to protect you. The forces are there. You will not be having any problem.
The reformed warriors ask government to change their lives so that they can become role models to others.
But even giving him goats or cows, they also have legs. They will move away. They will steal, and they want to build the house whereby they will stay together with the children and the women.
There is something which is going on, like the distribution of the animals that the president is going to bring to Karamoja, the color goats, the white goats, the buffalo goats, and the honey sheets. At least also let him also be the beneficiary.
3 guns were got from Moroto district through voluntary surrendering in just one day. Adia Nakuti, Moriniga, UBC.
Civil society organizations implementing the Alternative Basic Education for Karamoja, a BEC project, are imploring government to fast-track the coding process of various learning centers and community schools onto the national primary school curriculum. Findings by Uganda Debt Network, a monitoring partner of the project, show that about 145 community schools, which were formed from ABEC learning centers in Moroto, Apach and Kotido, still depend on donor aid for sustainability.
Save the Children Uganda and government have been partnering to see the ABEC program's success in achieving its goal, which is including pastoralist communities of Karamoja into the civil community of Uganda since 1998.
Because initially the entire running of it was by Save the Children. So the government came in to take up the salaries of these ABEC teachers. So that's the contribution of the government. And of course, we as the education managers in the district, we play a role of support, supervision and inspection. So that's the role of government in this program. So as I talk, all the ABEC teachers are on the normal government payroll under scale U8.
Despite government taking on some community schools that were formed as a result of merging ABEC centers, some glaring challenges still hinder their functionality.
Government has actually done a commendable job of coding some of these schools, but we also noticed that a number of these schools have actually not also been enrolled into the UPE program, and they have not been coded to be taken up by government. Over 145 schools are still lacking funding from the government. It implies that they still largely depend on the donor funding. Teachers are employed by the donors. Everything at school, the scholastic materials, basically these schools don't get the capitation grant like the other schools that are under the universal primary school education.
With classes running to primary 4 and enrollment of up to 400 students, Abra Polo Jala, the head teacher of Kanangakinoi Community School in Nakapiripirit district, justifies why the schools need to be coded.
This school is being coded because there are so many things that are lacking in this school. First of all, the school does not have teachers' houses. The school does not have enough classrooms. Apart from the only one, the donor has built this one. The school lacks so many things, no feeding program in the school.
Findings also show that females are being left behind in both the pupil and teacher fronts, undermining one of the project's core objectives of including the girl child. For example, in Moroto district, there are only 6 female teachers out of 39. Nakapiripirit has only 5 female teachers out of 16. Nabilatuk only has 5 female teachers out of 15 teachers.
So what we need to see government doing is to actually code these schools and embed them into the UPE program. So for us, we can still monitor and assess the performance of such schools and the children. We are very sure with sustainable funding, the children will actually do better in these community schools.
I'm seated with the learners and teachers of Kanangakinoi Community School in Nabilatuk district. Now this school only ends in primary 4. Should these pupils want to upgrade, they must move to a school that is about 7 kilometers away from here. So coding this school will enable them cut that distance short to upgrade their education. Reporting for UBC News, Wadulo Mark Arnold in Nabilatuk district.
Welcome back, Wadulo Mark Arnold. Now moving on, the Commissioner Citizenship and Passport Control, Brigadier General Nemanja Johnson, says disunity affects national development. He was the chief mourner at the burial of the mother to the Public Relations Officer, Internal Affairs Ministry, Simon Munday, that was held in Bushika Sub-County, Bududa District.
Brigadier General Nemanja has told mourners during the burial of the mother to Public Relations Officer, Minister of Internal Affairs, Simon Munday, to prioritize unity for development.
Uganda's problems cannot be solved by shades of colors of politics. Oba, ndiwa FDC, ndiwa NRM, ndiwa Catholic, ndi Muslimu, ndi Protestant. Bana Uganda ebyo mbikendeze kubanga nebo musigala nti leke tulwanyise ebintu ebitulwanyisa ebitamanyi ebyo byonna tamanyi colors za politics. Ngamwaleria waliwo n'endala obulwadde obulala babuyita hepatitis B ne cultures embi nazo tuzikendeze. Politics mubi nnyo.
Brigadier General Nemanja urged the mourners to prepare for their last journey as prescribed in the holy books. He also applauded the late mother who died at 80 years for tirelessly bringing up her children.
Obulamu bw'ensi mugendo, it's a journey. Kiringa eteeka ery'ekumi nga ly'amateeka 10, 10 commandments. Death is 11th. Because fenna eyazaalibwa yenna alina okugenda. Reverend yakyogeddeko father. Tetwagala kiwulira naye eryo tteeka lya kugoberera erya Katonda. Kiki tuyigamu obuntu bulamu n'ebyokoze si nga maama wano.
Hussein Katomatanda, former dean of RDCs, commended the late Maria for being a disciplinarian who took time to watch over her children.
This lady, my aunt who has died, was a disciplinarian, and she was very, very strict in making sure that her children grow up as good citizens, with good morals. And she did not leave her children just to go wild, no.
On his part, Simon Mondei told mourners that her late mother was more of a teacher and a mentor who taught him to be a hardworking person.
Taught us how to be humble. We were humble, we were disciplined. She taught us something that when you visit your uncle, fasting, wake up before the uncle. This is by rule. You should never wait for your uncle to wake up and then wake you up. No. Make sure if it is cleaning the utensils, you are in the kitchen.
Story by Yiga Muhammad for UBC News.
The organizing public committee ahead of Martyrs' Day celebrations at Anglican Martyrs Shrine Namugongo has revealed that the program to be followed at this year's pilgrimage prayers. The program was confirmed by the committee's chairperson, Mary Karoro Okurut, accompanied by her deputy Reverend Esau Bosa Chimanje at the inspection of the venue for this year's celebration.
Preparations and plans for the Martyrs' Day celebrations at Anglican Martyrs Shrine in Namugongo are in high gear, with the organizing committee touring the venue this weekend. Presidential Advisor on Public Relations Mary Karoro Okurut inspected the venue for the celebrations. Okurut urged the pilgrims to observe COVID-19 standard operating procedures.
Anglican site where the celebrations are going to take place. I don't know about the COVID lockdown, what happened. So after 2 years, this is when we are having these celebrations. Expecting about 20,000 pilgrims and visitors to come and attend. But they may be more, of course, because it is after 2 years and people are eager. But there are special arrangements, for instance, for the disabled, for the elderly. There are ushers who are going to look out for those vulnerable groups.
The committee's Deputy Public Relations Officer, Reverend Esau Bosa Chimanje, was part of the inspection team.
Specific day for the children on 28th. They are going to be taken care of. They are going to be coming in groups. Day, which is 29th, it is a Sunday. We are inviting all youth wherever they are. And we are going to have on second, we are having conferences, a conference for women, a conference for men. I will have the overnight on second. We know we have choirs, we have preachers who are going to be there to see us through. I will open here very early in the morning, but the service is expected to begin at 9.
Pilgrims won't be allowed to access the holy water point, as has been the norm, due to the construction works at the shrine's site.
They have water, holy water. People, not only Anglicans, but also, in fact, majority of them who fetch water from here, they are Catholics. They believe too much in that water, and the water does wonders in the lives of the people who get that water. But I'm sorry to announce that this time they are not going to be able to access that water because the place has been cordoned off. As I've said, the place is under construction.
This year's main celebration is under the theme Hope Beyond Affliction and is to be led by Ankole Diocese. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
5 pilgrims from Otuke district are set to arrive at Namugongo Martyrs Shrine in Kampala to take part in this year's Martyrs celebrations. The team, led by Otuke District Woman Member of Parliament Abeja Susan Okello, has been covering at least 60 kilometers per day of walking.
6 days ago, Otuke District Woman Member of Parliament Abeja Susan Okello led a group of 5 pilgrims from her constituency and district to Namugongo Martyrs Shrine ahead of this year's Martyrs Day celebrations.
We thought it wise to begin right away from Otuke, and this was a journey which has never been done before. because the team which is behind us, usually they move in 2 weeks. But this one was specifically meant for 1 week. We wanted to make a journey for 1 week. So we started the journey from Otuke on Saturday. Today is Saturday. Started on 14th. But challenges on the road, we couldn't make it within 6 days.
Although the number may look small, this is a representation of the commitment made some years back.
Personally, it is a commitment. In 2019, I walked myself up to Namugongo before I became a member of parliament. And I made a commitment to God that if I make it to parliament, even if I'm a member of parliament, I will still walk back to Namugongo to give my appreciation to God.
By last Saturday, they were heading to Matuga in Wakiso district as they hoped to make it this Sunday evening to Namugongo.
During this season, there is a lot of activities. So we tried talking to our people, like they have activities in the garden. So we wanted to do some demonstration. So that next time, those ones who are willing to come, we can bring them in within 1 week. So that the other 1 week, they can first do something as they believing to come to Namugongo. The challenge is Ugandan road is narrow. So my prayer to the road designers, since this pilgrim walk is going to be a continuous process, it's not going to end today, if they could create for us pavers for pedestrians, because the road we have in Uganda is only for the drive, for the trucks and for the riders.
The team is heading to Namugongo to pray against corruption and for improved service delivery in Otuke district.
She's praying for wisdom for the pupils or the students who are studying in the entire Otuke district. The first day, all our children were calling, "Mommy, where are you going? Will you reach?" She had developed that faith that she will reach in Jesus' name, and she's reaching. Has come to confirm what happened to the believers in Namugongo. We're praying that if God could help us and the issue of corruption comes down. Otherwise, our country is at a mess. So he has come to Namugongo to speak to his God, even if he's not seeing his God, but he has that faith and belief that his God is going to listen to him.
The pilgrims walk for an average of 60 to 70 kilometers daily.
And conclude this without appreciating our President Yoweri Museveni. We've been moving throughout the night. But Uganda is a peaceful country. Otherwise, if there was no peace in Uganda, could be they would even abduct us on the way.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Well, we do wish them a safe travel until Kampala. Well, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return after these messages.
Have waka, you passed the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Affordable packages, great entertainment,
sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get
the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is pretty awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. The development and commercialization of Uganda's oil and gas resources is being undertaken through 4 flagship projects, which will bring in investment of $15 billion into the economy. The Kingfisher project will produce 40,000 barrels of crude oil per day at peak. The Tilenga project will produce 190,000 barrels of crude oil per day at peak. The 1,443-kilometer East African crude oil pipeline project will transport the produced crude oil to access the international market via the Tanga port in Tanzania. The Uganda refinery project will process up to 60,000 barrels of oil per day to provide petroleum products to the Ugandan market and its immediate neighbors. Additional exploration work is ongoing in the Kanyotaba and Ngasa areas in the Albertine Graben. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
The Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is back on Sunday, 3rd July 2022 at Lubiri Mengo. This year, the run will be physical and will be flagged off by Sabasajja Kabaka at 7 a.m. Come out in large numbers once again to Lubiri Mengo. Run for a cause to fight and end HIV by 2030. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel shops at Tobani Center, New Taxi Park, ShopRite Building, Benchwanka Street, Majestic Brands Office at Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5#. Select Payments, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is brought to you by UNAIDS, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC Television. I'm Laureen Masika Kazimoto. Now with more stories, State Minister for Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, has asked Bukonzo East constituents in Kasese District to embrace the parish development model. Kabyanga was speaking at Kasokero Church of Uganda in Chondo Sub-County, Kasese District.
State Minister for Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, has officiated a fundraising drive for Kasokero Church of Uganda in Kasese district.
They want to start up some business of a petrol station. They want to set up a petrol station in Chisinga Town Council. And they have already acquired land. Now they want to start processing the licenses and probably buying equipment and all those tanks and all the accessories. So we came here to give them a hand. Automatically, we in our 10-year development plan as South Rwenzori Diocese, we have agreed that the church should start going into business as part of the sustainability strategy of the church, so that it's not dependent entirely on Christians. Because during COVID-19, when there was lockdown, we experienced a lot of difficulties when Christians were not bringing in tithe and offertories. But if we had business, at least the church would still be moving.
The minister said the parish development model funds are meant to benefit the poor and the vulnerable in the community for final inclusion.
We need to work as one people, one Banyarwenzuru people, irrespective of our divergent thinking. Let parties, religion, tribes not separate us. We are people of the Rwenzori. We are Banyarwenzuru, the people of the snow, and we must work together. We have so many challenges as Rwenzori. So if we again go into disunity, we can't go anywhere. We have a challenge of the snow, the glacier melting. We have a challenge of a very bad terrain. So if we don't have one voice, we cannot develop this area.
Godfrey Kabyanga was speaking at Kasokero Church of Uganda in Chondo Sub-County, Kasese District. He asked residents of Chando and Chisinga Sub-County to be alert in case ADF rebels sneak back into the country to destabilize communities.
Chondo here was a major route, and that's why it even lost more people than any other sub-county in Kasese District. At one time, even the president came here he was coming to lay a foundation stone of a monument in Chondo, where people were buried in a mass grave. So I have told them to be very cautious, because as we hit ADF in Congo, they may try again to penetrate into Uganda using the porous border.
The chairperson for the fundraising committee, Thembo Johnson, said they are looking for 48 million shillings to establish a petrol station in Chisinga Town Council. The NRM chairperson for Chondo Sub-County said the time is now to ensure service delivery to the people of Kasese. Amina Nabule Kajimu, UBC News.
UBC News. The newly enacted succession bill is already benefiting families which had problems and wrangles in property sharing following the passing of a loved one. The bill was signed into law, which was signed into law by the President recently, is aimed at solving wrangles within families regarding property sharing, among others. We have the details.
The recently enacted succession law has started benefiting some families that had previously been upset by property sharing. The family of the late Matovu Hannington of Buwate are the latest beneficiaries, and after agreeing on property sharing, courtesy of a meeting organized by their guardian Chiza Seninde at his Kasangati country home in Wakiso district.
Excited, and I thank the members of parliament for considering that the issue of throwing out or eviction of existing spouse thrown out of a marital home. So another that excited me was the fact that after the existing spouse takes possession of the property, the home, once they die, the property does not go.
Kali basayininze president lijewo okunyigirizibwa waliwo obuyiso bubi abantu bava nabo mu bika byabwe bali naye etteeka lino lyajjeewo.
Chiza Seninde commended President Yoweri Museveni for assenting to the succession bill and said this would help to solve family problems in future.
so I have no problem with the law which has been passed by the parliament and signed by the president. Hopefully the cultural institution, let them teach the people, our clan people, whomever, so that everything can work on well.
Fred Kasibante, Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Members of the National Resistance Movement skilling associations have been urged to embrace and make good use of the available government initiatives. This was during the opening of the main branch of NRM Fenatukole Inchini Mobilization and Development Association in Kampala. Take a look.
Kampala Affairs Minister Minisakawanda has appreciated members of the National Resistance Movement Fenatukole Association for the campaign against joblessness in the entire country.
And I'm impressed with what they are doing, and I've encouraged them to continue with what they are doing because it's a very good project. One thing, they're skilling the youth, they're skilling students, and they're skilling people like me, adults like me. So they should continue, but we are going to look around to see that they get more money, they get support from other people. We can also look for outside market, not only in NRM, but to all people, because this is a very good chance. They have carpentry, they have tailoring. So we can add on other developments, like knitting sweaters, like other things which are important for the community.
The association leaders thanked the minister for the intervention and promised to support the president by putting into practice all that can help develop the country.
Here at Kabanda's place, we stitch clothes of every type, t-shirts, round necks, overalls, overcoats, everything. So anyone who is there who is interested in giving us jobs, we can do everything. We can stitch everything. We do printing. Therefore, if you have any financial assistance which you can give to this place, you can kindly help us, because we really need your help such that we can also grow up as a company and as a family financially, and we also be well, and we also be able to support our families.
In another development, Minister Kabanda has pledged total support to health workers.
Right now we are not with politics, but we are with developments and service delivery. I know nurses have their own ethics, medical practitioners have their own ethics. So when you're practicing, we have to follow our ethics. And when you know the ethics, you cannot go wrong. You hear people saying they abused me in hospital, they did this and this, I was not given service, just because we don't have ethics in our minds. But if we follow our ethics, we can always give service to people.
This was during the climax of her mobilization visit to Bukalango. Adia Nakuti, Sudat Kaye, UBC.
A professor of languages has appealed to Ugandans and other Africans to prioritize speaking, thinking, and writing in their mother tongue for preservation of culture and decent. Professor Emmanuel Muranga was giving a keynote speech address at a study for a postgraduate studies consultative meeting organized by Professor Elisa Magara in the Minister's Village in Tinda near Kampala. Muranga says writing in local languages and speaking in mother tongues will improve communication among communities.
People should write in their mother tongues great works of literature, novels, plays, poems, stories, whatever.
Public universities across the country are being advised to teach local languages in an attempt to preserve cultural beliefs through promoting indigenous languages. A renowned professor of languages, Dr. Emmanuel Muranga, says by teaching local languages, there will be sustainable communication for development, cultural awareness, identity, and self-realization for a cohesive society.
And when people write in their mother tongues and they get published, I dream of books that are similar to those that were written maybe in the English language in the centuries that have passed. They should be written in our mother tongues, all of them, 65 in number. I don't really mind. But then what I recommend is that there should be translation.
Professor Muranga was addressing a postgraduate studies research consultative meeting on preservation of oral history in the administration of the word, an evangelical gap among the Banyankole in Uganda, organized by Professor Elsa Magara of Makerere University.
I have noted that the approach used to minister the word has a significant impact on the absorption of the word by the people that you are preaching.
Professor Magara said oral history is significant in arousing patriotism and love of one's culture and understanding of issues in a given community.
Used to administer using different ways. They would use proverbs, they would use stories, and other ways of how the message we are moving from one generation to another. This helped us to understand.
Magara said oral history creates togetherness, cohesion, and improved understanding of issues including faith in any region that one professes. St. Luke Church in Tinda's Reverend Dr. Tumwine Kateva addressed the consultative meeting for postgraduate studies special student status of Nairobi Evangelical Graduate School of Theology, Africa International University.
Jesus is not a God. Interpretation y'abana bahati. No kweza kwetegerezeka embundu mugasho gwembundu. Embu tigine kakwati tigine theology yayo na tigine kakwati.
The study that was also addressed by Dr. Alice Chobtunji, an expert in languages, aimed at finding better ways of preserving oral history in evangelization without leaving anybody behind. Haimana Dewo, reporting for UBC News.
The NRM government has been commended for the freedom of worship in the country, enabled even security officers to participate in worshipping their God without fear or favor. This was during the Thanksgiving service of Nsanji Christian Fellowship Church for acquiring land to construct the church and school. Already its construction works commenced in Nsanji, Wakiso district. Take a look.
These are some of the security officers from the UPDF, police and prisons during a Thanksgiving service held at Nsanji Christian Fellowship. They were thanking God for enabling them to acquire land to construct the church and a school for the underprivileged at Nsanji, Wakiso district. The function was also attended by evangelists from USA, California, led by Hannah Han. In attendance was UPDF senior officer Owalianawe Emmanuel, police and prisons officers among others.
Preachers of the word, you are doing the great work. Because where we can't reach,
that they cannot come and step on the church land. But we thank God.
The proprietor of Nsanji Christian Fellowship, Pastor Dr. Stephen Kayongo, commended the evangelists from USA, California for the continuous support towards expanding the church for the disadvantaged in the society.
And to say that the young children can get the knowledge of Christ and also be able to transform our country. As a man of God, I would encourage all my fellow Christians and non-Christians to always trust in God. With God, all things are possible, regardless of the situation you are going.
The evangelist from USA, California, Pastor Hannah Han, promised they will continue to support Nsanji Christians morally and spiritually to enable spread the word of gospel to the grassroots communities.
And God told me, buy that land. Redeem that land to God. Dedicate to God. Because that land belongs to God. Hallelujah.
Fred Kasibante, Sudat Kaya, UBC News.
The Mayor Nakawa Division, Paul Mugambe, has asked Kampala Capital City Authority to increase the number of vehicles for garbage collection to reduce the quantity of garbage in the area. Paul Mugambe made the remarks during a cleaning exercise by members of the International We Love You Foundation in the villages of Banda, a Kampala suburb.
With the mandate of carrying out global charitable activities, the International We Love You Foundation, a non-government organization, has supported a cleaning exercise in Banda, Acholi quarters. The Mayor, Nakawa Division, Paul Mugambe, thanked the International We Love You Foundation for the comprehensive cleanup and their selfless urge to help. However, the Mayor noted an increased dumping of garbage in trenches, which has retarded water flow, thus leading to floods whenever it rains.
Don't have enough garbage trucks to pick the garbage, but we also intend to teach our people on how to recycle the garbage, to make it useful, to get money out of it, to make briquettes, to make fertilizers and other things, because currently all the garbage is just dumped. In such a way, our people will be able to get money out of the garbage, but also have clean areas where they live. The other thing is sensitization. We need to continue teaching our people on safe disposal of garbage.
Members of the International We Love You Foundation noted the need of sensitizing communities on disposal of garbage.
Today what we are carrying out is one of the volunteer activities. This is Clean World Environment. So Clean World Environment, why? Today we live in modern society. So many industries, globalization, and there is what we call pollution of the air, pollution of the land, and pollution of the water. The end result is that many diseases actually caused up. And yet a clean environment and safe environment can result into good life, good health, and a happy society.
Nabasuja Josephine says different activities have been carried out and expressed the need of sensitizing communities on garbage.
This planet Earth, we live like a family. So we carry out our activities basing on the love of a mother. As we know, a mother plays an important factor in a family, and what a mother does is to try to make her family a better place. So we also carry out our activities relying on the heart of a mother to make this world a better place. As we know also, a clean environment is a beginning of a good life.
International We Love You Foundation is mandated to make efforts of improving the welfare of the socially underprivileged. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, Uganda People's Defence Forces 3rd Division Commander Brigadier General Joseph Balikudembe has said they are to continue with the forceful disarmament in Karamoja. Now, this comes at a time when some leaders say there should be peace dialogues to convince rustlers to surrender their weapons. Their forces promised to arrest all leaders who interfere in the operations.
28-year-old Apase Peter was arrested during a cordon and search security operation in Kanai sub-county, Kotido district. Peter was among the first people that surrendered their weapons, but eventually backslid into the vice.
There is nobody that surrendered a gun, and we have not followed him. So he started buying guns from Turkana and selling and distributing them in Kotido.
Commanders confirmed that Peter is a coordinator in the illicit gun trade.
I don't want to mention, notable leaders came begging for his release, that really he can support us in recovering the rest of the guns he had been selling around. When they failed, they moved to my brigade command, my brigade IO, requesting that if some initiatives can be passed to my brigade IO and this boy released.
The forces said they are to arrest any leader hiding gun traffickers and rustlers.
Of some leaders covering up, protecting the criminals is over. You come to protect anybody, you'll be part of the suspects. It is enough. We cannot be calling for disarmament. We cannot be calling for full-scale disarmament. We cannot be calling for peace. And again, you are there calling for the release of criminals. That one is out.
Knowing that you are defending a wrong person, you can be taken on as per the law.
Though some leaders want dialogue to continue, Brigadier General Kudembe says they have been conducting peace dialogue, but it did not yield anything.
Alongside the forceful disarmament, there must be community engagement meetings to prepare the mindset of the people, so that people are able to see that it is expensive to take a raid than peace. It is also expensive for government hand to come and get you, fix you, instead of you accepting peace.
The dialogue. And we are wondering, how many times are we going to dialogue? The same leaders are saying that, you know, the Karamojo don't want force. They want you to sit with them on the round table and we discuss the issues in regard to arms. But we have done that.
Kudembe wants leaders to join security forces in restoring peace in the region.
Now we don't need the lessons from them because the chance was given to them. What they can do, they cannot defeat us, they can join us, and we fight those ones who does not want peace.
The commanders promised that they will now relax as it was during the first disarmament once peace is achieved.
The sustainability of peace and security of Karamoja, we've had a deliberate plan to ensure that our disposition in Karamoja is permanent, like any other part of the country. We have reorganized the forces and we are going to continue deploying more forces in Karamoja.
The suspects were found with illegal firearms, arrows, military fatigues, among others. They are to be charged with murder and unlawful possession of firearms. Those caught with firearms will be taken to Division Court Martial, while others will be tried at Moroto Magistrate Court. Maureen Yiga, UBC News.
Have waka, you bust the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jangola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Everybody, Go TV. This is where the stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Peg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. And now into the business scene. Isingiro District Councillors have refused to pass the budget for this coming financial year 2022-2023 after noticing the recurrent revenues and planned activities were not tallying. Councillors cited connivance in the technical department with intention to steal some funds, which the Chief Administrative Officer denied.
There was drama in Isingiro District Council this Friday when councillors refused to pass the 2022-2023 financial budget upon realizing that it was marred by irregularities. The budget was presented to the council by the CAO, Alice Rushure, and her technical officers. According to the councillors, the money in the budget was not tallying with the planning activities. They also alleged that the budget never showed the performance of the previous years.
It was not a balanced budget. Recurrent revenues were more than planned activity revenues.
Madam Speaker, with this budget, which was presented to us by Honorable Robert Kamhanjire, the Secretary for Finance and Planning, was not well elaborative, depicting what this chart of accounts brings forward.
Number 3, it did not bear a past performance. When you are preparing a budget, you must present the past performance.
The councillors alleged that in March 2022, the district chairperson, Aaron Turahi, presented to them a draft budget of 78 billion for the coming financial year, but they were surprised to see another budget of 110 billion presented to them. This sparked of anger as councillors questioned where the technical team got the 22 billion they added into the budget, with majority accusing the technical team of corruption.
There are corruption issues here in this district. Corruption issues have been around for some time, for a long time, but this time it has grown very wide.
How comes and where did you get those figures from? If they are not from the other draft that we read in the council. Maybe there might be a problem, Madam Cow and Madam Speaker.
Cow, Masma, you have budget desk. It is very well facilitated and budgeted for. You prepare a proper document.
Some monies were being hidden. It's around 22 billion shillings was being hidden somewhere so that we pass. They injected planned activities which we don't know, so that they draw money to run those activities when you don't know.
In her defense, the cow, Aris Rushure, first appealed to the speaker to chase away journalists for her to speak, which councillors refused.
And I'm wondering, why are they rotating within the council?
How have you been handling
However, she later defended the budget, saying that the additional money that is being reflected in the budget was an award from the Ministry of Finance given to the district for their best performance of the previous years. She also attacked councillors whom have continued to accuse her of endless corruption.
It is your first budget. It is unfortunate of you as a younger man. Cow misguided you as a creative in your political career.
Councillors directed her to refer the budget back to the Finance Committee for check-up before it's again presented to them for passing.
We cannot pass this budget and remove all these variances of which we shall be held accountable in the future. I submit.
The technical team department is now left with only 9 days to come up with a clear budget, which will be presented to the council on 30th of May for approval.
You must make assurance that will ensure that Isingiro stands up for this council.
Well, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. We'd like to thank you so much for your company and would like to wish you a fruitful and a blessed weekend. I'm Yoweri Museveni from the newsroom team, the control room team, and myself. Good night.